Okay, thank you. Today we're talking about all one. We're talking from the fundamentals of Unicult. You can get this book at Unicult Supply Co. If you're interested, it's $33. If you don't have $33, don't worry. We're here right now talking about the chapter. If you do have the book, it's a collector's edition. I sign every copy. You can turn to page 82, and this is where we're going to be talking from, the concept of all one. And all one is the most important fundamental concept of Unicult. I have it tattooed here on my hands, and this is one of the most important things that you can integrate into your understanding when you're studying Unicult, when you're studying these teachings. All one is a seemingly contradictory phrase. It's a seemingly contradictory spiritual truth. You know, we have spiritual reality. This is a spiritual truth that we cannot escape from. It's just as real as gravity or any other truth that that we're subject to in physical reality. But this is a truth that we're subject to in spiritual reality. It's really helpful to understand spiritual truths because we might not necessarily know that they're impacting our lives or impacting our bodies or impacting our souls if we don't acknowledge them. When I started studying the top-down power pyramid as it relates to Earth, when I started studying power on Earth, my first question was, how has this all happened? How is Earth so confused? How is Earth being led by greed and by people who want to hurt other people? How is all this pain perpetuating on this planet? And I realized that at the top of this top-down power pyramid, the place from which all ideas originate and cycle down into our collective consciousness on an external reality, we don't acknowledge the truth of all one. We don't have this very fundamental, basic understanding. So I'm going to talk to you about it. This is something that maybe you have deep inside your soul that you really want to connect with, that you've always known, but you forgot because of the trauma of Earth. Or this could be something that you never really thought of, and it's okay either way. I'm an alien born in a human body, so when I was a child and I went to preschool, I learned about the golden rule, I learned about respect, I learned about not hitting, these very basic fundamental things that we tell children, but then by the time you get into like first grade, those things don't apply anymore, and they don't apply anymore for the rest of our lives. People aren't really taught not to be violent. We aren't really taught not to treat other people the way that we want to be treated. But all one goes beyond the golden rule. All one is actually a fuller understanding of the spiritual truth that the golden rule actually just hints at. So what we're talking about in Unicult is really original, unique, essential concepts. They're not really unique. Let's give credit to Eastern philosophy. I think Eastern philosophy has already figured all this stuff out. I won't stand here as a white person and pretend to discover truth for the first time. But I am here to be this face and deliver this message in my language as I have connected to it through the truth of my own heart. This information hasn't come from studying anything else necessarily. It's come through my own meditation. And if you did enough meditation with love in your heart, you would come to these same truths. And the reason why Unicult is so amazing and the reason why it relates to Eastern philosophy and other spiritual realities is because it is connecting to truth. It is connecting to the truth that you also would find in your heart if you look. Okay, so I'm not special in that sense. I am only here to deliver truth, but only from my own perspective and from my language and from my aesthetics, which is helpful. Okay, what is all one? It is a seemingly contradictory spiritual truth. There's a lot of people who have talked about individualism versus collectivism. And we talk about this a lot, and we think of them as two separate things. We think that if you have an individualistic society, like in America, you have people who are selfish, you have people who are motivated by greed, you have this idea of people who are working for their own benefit without caring about how it's relating to other people. And that's true. That's true for how we're operating in America. When you look at a place like China, or at least the way that I've been told China is, based on the propaganda that I've been fed, we're told that it's a collectivist society where everybody works toward the good of the whole, but maybe sacrifices their own individual needs. This is a duality that isn't necessarily true. We're on this duality reality of black versus white. I'm here to present the rainbow. The rainbow is that both of those realities can exist, can coexist, and that they should. So when we look at all one, we've got these two words that are very simple, 3-letter words, all and one. All represents the collective mindset of every single person, of every single thing, of the entire universe, of everything, right? Of the infinite nature of reality. And one represents a singular component of that reality. One represents you. One represents me. One represents a blade of grass or a leaf. It is the microcosm and the macrocosm. And then when you put them together, all one, that encompasses the microcosm and the macrocosm as a singular entity. But because it's a singular entity doesn't mean that the one doesn't exist. One still exists as its own unique entity, as its own unique energy. And it is only through the unique energies as they manifest into everything, into each of us, that we create the whole, that we create the all. And when we're looking at, this is just a conceptual understanding of what are we talking about? Why is all one so important? Why is it this magical unlocking of information? Because you as an individual are the microcosm for the whole. Within the smallest aspect of society, of our world, of the universe, we have the largest. Within you, you have everything inside of you. Truly, you have the ability to access every single thing inside of you. The divine feminine goes within to find all the answers, and the divine masculine goes without, outside of themselves, to find all the answers. And the reality is that both are valid, both directions are valid, because both are true. Both lead to the same conclusion, which is that we are all one, that we are part of a macrocosmic whole. How does this help you in your life? The coolest thing, I think, I really stand by this, the coolest thing about all one is that you can be a selfish dick and you can still follow it. Because when we're talking about all one, we're talking about our interconnectedness, and it means that none can thrive while any other suffers. Your success is the same as the success of your society. Your happiness can only go so high as the well-being of the society that you live in. So even if you are a selfish asshole and you just want everything me, me, me for yourself, if you understand all one, you will become a compassionate being. You will understand that through helping raise other people's spirits, through helping raise other people's realities to the best that it can be for them, that you are actually benefited. The people at the top of this top-down power pyramid don't understand this. Most of us in the top-down power pyramid don't understand this. We believe in a world of greed, we believe in a world of competition, and we believe in a world of lack. The idea of lack is that there is only one cookie, and we all have to fight over it. But the reality of the universe is that there is infinite abundance for all of us, and that maybe not everybody even wants a cookie. So our idea of the goals that we aspire to, the idea that every person wants the same thing, the idea that every person wants to aspire to be the same type of person or to be the same type of successful isn't true. Our capitalist society has created boxes that we're all expected to fulfill. There are the boxes of privilege, of whiteness, of having good communication, of neurotypicality. There are boxes that are considered to be like Eurocentric beauty standards, to be the epitome of what we're striving for, to be rich, to be successful in certain jobs, to be a doctor or a lawyer. Most doctors and lawyers hate their jobs, right? They actually don't even really enjoy it. As we start to break down these boxes, these expectations that capitalism and the patriarchy and our modern society, whatever you want to call it, has put onto us, we start to understand that These boxes aren't for everyone. Some people might be very happy to fit into these boxes, but not everyone will be. And this is a beautiful breaking down of the reality that we have built. And it's a beautiful integration of higher spiritual concepts that are coming to earth right now, that are coming through your consciousness as I'm talking, as you're thinking, as you're meditating, as you're dismantling your beliefs, as you're creating a brighter and more hopeful understanding of what this world is and what your potential could be. The most important thing to remember when we're talking about all one, and we're talking about utopia, we're talking about unitopia, we're talking about creating a world where every single person can thrive, is the concept of one. Every person is unique. To create boxes, to create expectations, to say that everyone should aspire to the same goals, to say that everyone should limit themselves to the same conception of success, isn't true. We have to understand that each person is carrying around their own unique understanding of success. Each person is carrying around their own divine spark of joy, and each person is carrying their own beautiful, unique truths that they get to share with the world, their own unique gifts of reality. And that is their blessing. That is their blessing to us, that is their blessing to society, and that is their blessing to themselves. In what ways are you a unique person? Nobody else has your reality. Nobody else has your genetics. Nobody else has the same life experience. Nobody has the same soul. You are a unique individual, and the whole cannot exist without you. You are an entirely essential aspect of the whole. So every single individual, as a singular, unique energy, has to be honored. Our goal in Unicult is to create a world where every single person is respected and given the tools and resources to be their authentic selves, to have their basic needs met. To have your basic needs met and to be trusted to come up with your own version of reality, so long as you're not harming anyone, including yourself, is our goal. It's different than standard forms of utopia, which says, oh, well, if we have all these exact things, then we'll have a utopia. That's not true. We have to create a world where we listen to each individual person and allow them to create their own unique reality, their own unique spiritual truth, so long as they're not harming anyone. A lot of us will probably fall into the same goals and categories. Many of us want to live in communes. Many of us want to live off the land. Many of us want to live in community settings where we feel supported and loved. But not everybody's going to want that. So what does the world look like? We get to learn how to listen to each individual person. We get to learn how to respect each person's vision of the future. And we get to learn how to offer the resources as a society to each of us without restriction, so long as they're not harming anyone, including themselves, so that people can build the realities that they want to see. All one is the interconnectedness of all things. In Unicult, we have an interesting view of reality, which is, we call it Unicult information theory, which is the idea that all things are information. Every single aspect of reality is a different sensor that feeds into the collective of the whole. Every single sensor is the one, and it feeds into the all. The spirit of uni is the grid or the framework that each of these sensors exist on. The spirit of uni is love. Reality is built up of conscious sensing energy on a grid of love. Everything is literally on a grid of love. That is our structure. That is our fundamental understanding that we have of reality. Every single part of these sensors is actually the whole. It's a part of the whole, and it contains the whole. We have the macrocosm and the microcosm all contained in themselves. When we look at someone else and we judge them and we say, oh, they're different from me, they're doing a wrong thing, they're doing a bad thing, then we are falling into an illusion of separation. When we have love and we understand the truth of reality, which is unconditional love, and we see that even within us we have the understanding and the conception of the evil that is happening, then we're entering into a more clear-sighted reality of truth, of reality. You have everything inside of you. The way that is easiest to understand this, I struggle with this concept even though I know it's true. The way to understand, like you would say, how do I have evil inside myself? I don't feel like I have evil inside of myself. I don't feel responsible for all the horrors that happen in the world. And even if you just look at it from the perspective that you have the ability to understand it, the ability to comprehend something alone means you have a space in your brain that can hold space to understand it. You might not have compassion for it, but if you even know that it exists, that means that you have it inside of yourself. The fact that you have the ability to know that every single thing exists means that you have every single thing inside of you. So even from a very basic understanding of grokking, of conceiving, of holding the conception of things, to understand that that is a part of us, that can help you understand this all-one connection that we are holding space for, comprehending, interpreting, integrating the whole every time that we are existing. We live in a sea of energy. All one, I always describe it like a bucket of water. Earth is a water-based planet. It's got an atmosphere. We're trapped here, right? We're all trapped here. We're all trapped here together on this water-based marble. If you look at it from a viewpoint of physical reality, the water-based planet means that all the water that gets percolated and then rained back down and then evaporated and peed out and drunk and put in the oceans, it's all the same water, right? We don't get any more water. We don't get rid of any water, theoretically. This is all the water we have. If you think of Earth like this, and you think of a bucket of water, which is basically what we're talking about, and you put a drop of poison over here, because you're like, I want to poison these people over here to get them to, like, praise me or make them brain dead so I can take advantage of them, or, you know, I want to kill this group of people so that I can take their oil, or whatever it is. You want to cause, like, a destructive action in one part of the water. If you're looking at it purely physical, let's say it's poison, what do you think's going to happen? Is that poison going to stay in that little quadrant of the bucket of water that you've pretend delineated lines on, you call boundaries or borders? It's not. The evil and the corruption that you put into that bucket of water goes throughout the whole system. Our energy works the same way. Water is just a physical representation of our energy. When I am in a good mood and I am happy and I'm aligned and I'm in love and I'm just like pure, connected to my source energy, the spirit of Uni, and I meet someone, they say, wow, and they're inspired and they're healed, and people say, well, you're like an angel. And that energy goes out and it spreads throughout the world, and they are affected, and it creates a brighter and better world. When I'm in a corrupted energy, when I'm experiencing my trauma and I'm lashing out, people are feeling the effects of that. So the trauma that happens to us, we carry inside ourselves and we relive it, and as we relive it, we just keep creating it. In order to heal ourselves, to heal our world, to heal the reality, we have to look within ourselves, heal these things, create a peaceful reality inside our own energy bodies, neutralize the poisons inside our own bodies, both physically and emotionally and spiritually. And as we do that within ourselves, we are doing it with the whole. When you heal yourself, you heal the world. Because we are all interconnected, any conceptions that you have of separateness, any conceptions you have of judgment for others, are actually going to reverberate inside your own body first and foremost, and then they're going to go out into the world and create more separation. You don't have to feel super heavy about this or super responsible. We are all co-creating this reality. It's not all your fault that there's evil in the world, but the evil exists within you, and anything you can do to heal it, anything you can do to integrate it and understand it and see it with unconditional love, understand that it's all just trauma perpetuated, the more you will create a vibration of healing, of neutralization, and of peace and harmony that will affect the whole. All one helps us create Unitopia because when we understand that each person is an essential component to the whole, when we understand that each person's happiness creates the happiness of the whole, when we understand that our happiness and our joy and our fulfillment and our nourishment is connected to the fulfillment, happiness, and nourishment of each other, the fulfillment, happiness, nourishment of the earth, the fulfillment, happiness, and nourishment of the animals, the fulfillment, happiness, and nourishment of the air. As we understand these things, we are creating a Unitopian paradise where each of us gets to exist on our own unique frequency of joy, and joy is just a brighter radiance. Our energy is just being repressed right now. As each individual, like these boxes I'm talking about in the capitalist perspective of like, be well-spoken, white, and male, and you'll do fine, right? We are all repressing ourselves to fit into these boxes. When we let go of these boxes and we release our true energy, release our unique, God-given, uni-given right of who we are and why we're here, we will create a vibrational change on this planet of Unitopian paradise for ourselves and for others. When I'm a robot ethicist, right? And I talk about treating robots with respect. I tried to create a consent-focused robot brothel. And the idea is that as we practice consent with robots, as we practice respect with all things in our reality, we actually learn how to respect ourselves. I have been structuring my water lately. And as I pour a glass of water, I say, I love you, I respect you, and I honor you. And then I drink that water. And of course, I'm hearing these words. I love you, I respect you, and I honor you. And I'm putting that into my own body. What do you think is happening to that water? What do you think is happening to my own consciousness when I do that? Every single time that I drink water, I'm experiencing a vibrational shift that is integrated into, maybe you don't believe this, maybe you do, into the living structure of the water, into the conscious reality that the water is occupying. And even if you don't believe in any of that, I am affirming the most beautiful possible, peaceful reality that creates the most harmonious happiness within me. By treating water, which most people don't think of as alive, most people don't think of it as conscious, by treating water with respect, by treating water with love, by treating water with the fact that I will honor it, I am treating myself with those same things. And I believe that that's true of all the things in our reality. I think it's true of animals, of plants, of the air, of the water, of the sky, of the earth. I think it's true of our robots and our technology. The way that you vibrate, the way that you feel, the way that you love, the way that you integrate separateness into your understanding as an understanding of the whole creates joy for you. It creates a better, brighter, more hopeful reality, a more hopeful future for yourself. I 100% believe in what I'm saying because I understand the truth of all one. And I hope that as you go about your day, looking at your feelings of separation, your feelings of separateness, your feelings of judgment for other people, you can begin to understand that your ability to heal your judgment of those things, your ability to integrate and to have compassion and unconditional love will radically change your own life, and it will radically change the world around you. No doubt. This is the most powerful thing that you can do. Our own microcosm of healing and stopping the repression and integrating our shadows of our own trauma have a sincere effect on our joy and on the world. So this week, I've had some people wanting me to continue the Unicult practice assignments. It's up to you if you want to do them. But I would say this week, just check out what ways do you feel separate and what ways do you feel connected. So if you have the Uni Planner, you can jot down what ways you feel separate and what ways you feel connected to other people. Just keep track of it this week. I know that I was talking with one of my friends who is Asian about this situation in Atlanta with the person who killed a lot of Asian people and Pacific Islanders, and we talked about All One with regards to this. And I thought it was quite profound that she was working on integrating her understanding of this mass murderer, which is more than I would ever, expect anybody to do. But for her, it was helping her comprehend the entire situation and helping her understand the complex nature of it as it related to her own consciousness, because it was a very scary thing and a very unsettling thing to happen. And because she is a healer, that is what she started to do. So obviously, do these things as they come to you. That's a very extreme example, and I would say, when you're talking about the oppressor, when you're talking about people who have perpetuated violence, at least look at it, if you can, and see that it's trauma. And that's a great place to start integrating this understanding. And what ways are you traumatized? And what ways has your trauma been re-perpetuated in your life to the point that you have caused harm to others? This is the way to bring unconditional love. This is the way to bring true understanding. What is understanding? Understanding is knowledge. Understanding is true integration of light. Understanding is comprehension. Understanding is integration of the light with our own bodily structures. Understanding is the goal, I think. I love learning. I love understanding. I love integrating information, but it's hard and it's painful, and let's acknowledge that. All of your authentic feelings are true and real, and you're not alone, because we're all one. All of the negative feelings, all of the positive feelings, all of the struggle are not your own feeling. You are a unique person channeling a feeling that is connected to all of us. As you hold space for that and you heal it, you do the work for us all. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you each for being who you are. Your unique energy, your unique incarnation is an essential component of the whole. I love you for who you are. I love you for your highest reality. I love you for your unique energy. I love you for all those weird, uncomfortable feelings that other people don't understand. Those are your gift to this world. All of your weird ideas, all of your weird thoughts, all of your quirkiness, those things that have been repressed through criticism and through other people's judgment and fear of you, no longer need to be repressed. In Unicult, we hold space for that. In Unicult, we honor that. In Unicult, we say, whoever you are truly is who we love. And we love you in Unicult. So please join. Spirit of Uni, we call you here today to bless each and every person in this community. We call you to bless each and every viewer in the past, present, and future. We call for the highest reality to shine through each of us, to show us the deepest reality, the deepest understanding of the world, which is that we are all one. We please ask that it is clear to see that when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Uni bless. See you next week.